over too.
I don't know. I think those guys would have gotten over regardless of Slaughter.
No, I agree, but he was the heel.
No,
he was the antagonist.
Right, but I think you could have put Jimmy Doo in that position and it would have been fine. Slaughter just existed. He would stick out. My big chin is going to stick out, and that's about it. Gina says Bischoff.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I think Bischoff might have to take the kick.
What are you going to talk about? Fucking other guy, Nick Bockwinkel?
I wasn't a huge fan of Nick.
I wasn't either.
I think the classic one that I'll always remember, never ever forget, is
Jack Tunney.
Yeah, that's it, Jack Tunney. That's the classic one because that's the one that like everyone in their child in the '80s remembers. Jack Tunney was I guess I don't know, never did anything special. Never. It was just like he's iconic for that just being there. Briscoe and him and Patterson were helping. You know, as authority figures, yeah, James Haynes hit it right there, man.
Bischoff?
No, fucking Patterson and Briscoe. I mean, you want to talk about guys who helped get other people over as fucking McMahon stooges? Oh my god. That was a fucking great job getting people over. Jack says, he says people power, and that's what Johnny Ace.
I wasn't even watching it that
much.
I can't stand John Warren. Wow, God. Yeah, Vince, your arms look huge today, man.
Oh, huge. Did you get a tan? Oh. Vince Russo is Tim, I will never put Vince Russo over here, although if you do want some comedy, please shoot me a private message and I will forward you Vince Russo shitting all over CPA. It's CPA approved, he sent it to me. It's fucking hilarious. Rap is. Juba, the topic is... The topic is... best, worst, notable, non-wrestlers, managers, authority figures, people who are not full-time wrestlers.
That's a perfect one for Juba.
Jesus. Regal certainly would be an authority figure.
Him and Tajiri were good together.
Regal? That was when they were wrestling. But Regal...
But he was like his assistant.
Right, but Regal nowadays is an authority figure. Commissioner Regal was great. I think that's some of the most underrated...
He was a commissioner there, too.
Yeah, so a lot of underrated stuff with...
He physically can't wrestle anymore.
Regal? Yeah, he can.
He can.
Every once in a blue, he steps in there. Gorilla Monsoon is brought up.
He wasn't long.
It wasn't very long.
Regal was a very nice guy when I met him.
I mean, you can't give... we talked, Vicky Guerrero was great, Eric Bischoff was great, but honestly, the best of all time, there's really no comparison, is Vince.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just because Vince was able to...
The biggest star that they had was there all along, and it was him.
Yeah.
You know?
Right, and Vince never wanted to do anything like that, but he was put in a position where...
Well, Brett screwed Brett.
Brett screwed
And
Brett.
that's what did it.
Yep. But it was great in that role, honestly. All right, so we did managers, we did authority figures. What other non-wrestling entities are there out there?
Non-wrestling entities?
I mean, I could go with as like the best...
You mean like celebrities?
No, but like a color guy. Where like Jerry Lawler would...
He's definitely not a non-wrestling entity.
Well, he is because he wrestles how often? But
he had a major career prior.
Okay, as did a lot of these other guys. Gorilla Monsoon had a major career before he was an authority figure.
Right. Jim Ross. If you're going to go that route.
Jim Johnson creating almost everyone. Yeah, but he's not so much a I guess he could be a non-wrestling entity. But he's in an island of his own. You know what I mean? I think... We're talking about, like, color guys. Because even fucking Heenan would, like... be a color guy, but then he would fucking manage Flair and shit like that. So, like, he had that. So I think Heenan and Jerry Lawler kind of duke it out in terms of, like, the best in that role.
Well, then Jim Ross, if you're going to go that route, because Jim Ross was probably the greatest announcer commentator.
Right, but he wasn't, like, I mean, outside of... It took him a long time to finally get that angle where he, was taking over Raw and just look at punch. Say, if I knock your boy out, you have any heat. First of all, he ain't a boy, he's a man. Jay George does that imitation way better. Teddy Long is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, you know what? Teddy Long was in that spot for a good amount of years.
Let me holler at you, player. Still a highlight for me of everything in Warriors of Wrestling of all time. Teddy Long announcing things as a tag team match, player. Best referee, that's a good, excuse me, Gina,
Best
thank
referee
you.
of all time? Tommy Young.
Tommy Young.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that when I said it.
So you're gonna say Tommy Young? I certainly think there's a lot of truth to that. What about Lil Nate, Charles Robinson?
Sure. Like Lefty?
Yeah. And Charles Robinson is definitely up there.
Nick Patrick is another one.
Nick Patrick is an excellent ref, yeah.
There's Joey Morello was good. Billy Caputo.
Billy Caputo, absolutely. Good dude. Good dude.
Yeah, very good dude.
Jimmy Hart's wow. How do we forget Jimmy Hart?
I didn't forget him.
Why don't you bring him up, you jerk?
I just don't... I mean, yeah, he was a great manager. I just don't know if he's in the class as Heenan now.
All right, so let's set up a top 3 now. Top 3 managers all time, top 3 authority figures all time, top 3, yeah, let's do those 2. Because we're starting to end this. Paul Bear's another one brought up. Shit, we left him out. That's a major one. Of course, CJ's going to bring that up.
Getting guys over Heenan, Cornette. For a third one, Heyman. Or Bully Dangerous, whatever you want to call it.
You know what? I might have to stick with those 3 as well. I think Cornette would be my number 1.
There's definitely other guys.
Cornette number 1. Bobby Heenan, maybe instead of Paul E. Only because, again, to me, Paul E. is...
You missed the whole... You were only 2 when Heenan kind of stopped managing.
Right.
With 3.
But I'm gonna straightforward. I'm gonna throw an oddball out there just because he's one of those guys who is severely underrated in terms of his work as a manager, because he stayed in the territories for quite some time. But Gary Hart.
Gary Hart. I knew you were gonna say that too.
Yeah.
And I gotta agree with that.
Yeah.
If he was in a major stage,
Gary Hart was a bad motherfucker.
What do you have? All the heels in fucking Texas he had.
Yeah. That dude was the heel manager in Texas.
Kabuki, Kamala.
And then they brought Kabuki from the Orient, daddy.
What was the other question? Authority figures?
Yeah, I was going to say also Gary Hart, when he came to WCW, he was also on top over there with Muda and fucking the JTEX Corporation. Yeah. All right.
Funk. He managed Funk too.
He did. That's it. JTEX Corporation. Authority figures.
I'll stick by Monsoon. I'm not Monsoon. Slaughter because of the era.
James Haynes says Paul Jones. Fuck Paul Jones. How's about that, James Haynes?
Paul Jones.
Fuck Paul Jones. The guy came out wearing a cowboy hat, looking like a fucking jackass Marlboro man. How's about that?
Paul Jones.
Fucking jerk.
God.
I don't know who the fuck.
Yeah, it'd have to be Vince. Vince and just because I'm old school guy, Jack Tunney.
You know what? I'd say Vince as number 1, 100%. Bischoff, 100% number 2. And I mean, I'm floating around between.
Bischoff, I can see too.
And I'm floating around. I'm floating around with like either Jack, because Jack Tunney's a classic, but Vicky Guerrero was so fucking good and such a great heel. But at the same time, you gotta holla, holla, holla at your boy.
Yeah, he's had longevity.
Longevity, and was just, again, Jack Tunney will just be remembered as being like iconic in that sense. But like Teddy Long had you going 1-on-1 with the Undertaker, player. Like it's iconic shit like that he'll forever be known for doing. I don't know. Super cool in my eyes. Anyway, we thank you guys for joining in. I might have a special guest next week. I've got an idea that I'm rolling with. So I might actually try and do a special guest where they're in here. I've got the camera. I guess if you watch, I could have them.
You can bring them on.
Yeah, I could bring them on. So I might just have a special guest next week. So maybe we'll hype the shad, but I'll see if I can make it happen.
Might not be Juba.
But thank you. It's not going to be Juba. Thank you so much for watching Warriors of Wrestling.
He knows what happened
on all social media. WOW TV Live on YouTube. Check out all the matches that are coming out. We have a studio taping this Sunday, so all those new studio taping matches will be coming out really soon. You can check me out this weekend, Saturday, at PvP in Massachusetts. Kicking ass. But otherwise, for me, King of Chaos, NYC, on all forms of social media, for the boss man and me, we'll see you next time.